Hello everyone, it's me Max23 and welcome back to the Final Fantasy VI Tea Edition. In this episode, the party takes a little breather and settles down to share some new knowledge they learned about the various items and skills they gathered throughout their adventures. So sit back and enjoy. Alright, hello everyone, welcome back. We are at it again. Last time we did visit the Esper village and we also defeated Omega and Shinryu. And those were the last couple of things I had on my list. I maintain a list where I do write everything down that I want to do in the sec. And yeah, last time we basically finished all those things that were on the list. And so yeah, I was wondering, what else could I do now? What is there still to do? And in order to figure all of that out, I finally decided to actually do some very intensive research about a Tea edition here. And that led to a lot of interesting insights. Those are things I will present you in a second. But yeah, I can already tell you what we will do today. What I'm planning to do today is the Soul Shrine. We defeated Ultima, you know that, and I keep mentioning it, but Ultima does unlock the EX patch, but it also unlocks the aforementioned Soul Shrine. So basically Ultima unlocks two things, and we will do one of those things before we then defeat Kefka and then move over to the EX patch. That's the plan at least. But yeah, before we get going, like I said, I want to present you some stuff. Okay, first of all, I did some stuff off-screen as well. I did not just do research, I also did do some stuff in-game here. And yeah, the first thing I did was I did teach all of the characters that we have every magic spell. So we have, like, every character has all the magic here, like Cure to Holy for white magic, Fire to Ultima, black magic, and Slow to Meteor for time magic. And I did that for all characters. Like, I will only show you the 4 I have in the party right now. But yeah, I did it with all characters. Which is nice because then every character can use everything. So I thought that would be good. And yeah, unless we do still add something here, which I highly doubt. Yeah, we have every spell in the game now, which is always convenient to have. So yeah, that was the first thing I did. And based on the levels, you might also be able to deduct another thing. I did also train my underleveled characters a little bit. I did not train like Terra, Celis, Gaugo and stuff, but I did train the party members that were falling behind and stuff. So let me show you this if I go to the change party menu. So Terra 62, Locus 55, Cyan 52, Shadow 56, Edgar 65, 57, Zabin, Cell 62, Strago 53, Realm 53, Zetsa 58, Mog 57, Gau 54, Gau 67, the highest level, and Umaro is 57. Okay. Yeah, I thought I still want to like try other characters. I don't know. I still want to give them a shot. I still think that's nice and stuff. So I did make an effort to train those. I simply went into the Labyrinth of the Ancients and defeated some enemies there with Ultima and... Not Ultima, but Ultima the Esper. And a character that had Economizer equipped with Ultima. And sometimes also Bahamut, and those took care of all the enemies. And I was able to gain XP fairly quickly. Also equipped the XP egg. So that was pretty simple and pretty nice. I still have some interest to use like some like specific characters here. Like Cyan is a character I want to try. I did actually figure out that his Bushido techniques are pretty good, especially his level 8 one. And that is a very good attack indeed. He also has fairly nice HP, like base HP here. Although that's not his base, that's already with the equipment he's equipped. But yeah, he has some fairly nice moves, and I also really want to use Cyan at some point, and I will use him in this episode actually. But I want to use Cyan because Cyan usually is like very, very bad. Like his Bushido techniques in the base game are too slow to be kind of viable, so would be nice if I could use them. Shadow's also a character I wanted to use more, like, all the time, but never got around to. Maybe in the future, but not right now. But I still have an interest in Shadow. Sabin is surprisingly someone that I'm not all that interested in. Like, in the base game, he's super strong with Phantom Rush and stuff, but right now, it's partially because of his low MP, so yeah, he actually received quite some nerfs in T Edition, I would say. But yeah, Strago is probably a character I will never use. He just has way too low HP for my tastes. Like, he will just die with everything that comes his way, so nah. And Gao is just straight up better than Strago because Blue Magic is just so much better on him. His MP is nice, sure, but unless we have like a super magic orientated boss fight, Strago is not gonna fight anymore, I think. Mok is probably the same case. Mok is outclassed by Edgar, I think, because Edgar first of all can equip Gungnir natively while Mok cannot. His stances are not anything worth anymore, I would say. And the only thing I could do is equip Pheasant Netsuka, I think, the relic that I have, and use the animal command. I did actually take a look at Mok's animal command. What it does, basically it allows him to use like his strongest variants of the dances randomly. So basically instead of having like multiple pools of 4 moves, he has like one pool of 8 moves, which like corresponding to the 8 dances he has. And he picks randomly one of those animals he can summon when doing a dance then. And some of those animals actually have some fairly good effects, that's certainly true, but still not good enough for my taste. Like one animal can like give re-raise to the party, which is pretty nice. And like another one can actually act as a kind of mighty guard, but it is still random, and that's something I do not really want to bother with. And yeah, you know the other party members. Locke is also kind of outclassed. Locke is not really all that special. Like, he's missing something. Like, he can steal, but doesn't serve much value in combat, I think. Realm also kind of underwhelming. Like, Terra and Cells accomplish more in battle with her passive abilities. Not with their, like, their main abilities. Especially Terra with Trance or Morph. And yeah, Sketch is just not gonna cut it. Once again, random natures. I don't like random natures. And that's why I take Zetsa, because he's so random, and nah. But he has good RNG moves, so yeah. Umaru also still interesting, I would say, if I need very, very high HP, but he cannot use magic and stuff. But yeah. You know, my main party is Terra, Edgar, Celis, Zetsa, and Go-Go. Like, those 5 are like the main stars of the show by this point, which also is reflected with their levels. But I made an effort to raise everyone to level 50, a little bit above. Like I said, lowest level with 52. But yeah, some characters are more viable now, hopefully. And you did already see which characters I wanted to bring for this, for the next section, which is Realm, Cyan, who else? Gao, and Terra. I still need one character that is like part of the main party here, so yeah, but those other 3 will hopefully be able to show off some skills today. Also, I'm getting ejected here. But yeah, another thing I did, as you might be able to tell if you look at the characters here, I did change some outfits. What I did was I did compare all the outfits and did look at their stat gains, the stat gains they provide. And what I did right now is I gave every character the outfit that, in my opinion, gives them the best stats. Like, for example, here Lulu for Celis gives her the biggest increase in magic, and here Snow for Sabin gives him stamina and strength, and Shantoto for Realm also magic. I basically choose like the best like overall stats and the stats that I most cared about, so that was what I was going for. I think it's pretty obvious which outfits I did take here, so but I can spell it out, I guess. Gao is Minwu, Umaru is Kimari, Sabin is Snow, the other way around. Shadow is Golbez. Locke is Squall. Celis is Lulu. Shantoto is... Dude, no. Realm is Shantoto. And Terra is Lightning. Cyan is that one character from Final Fantasy XI, actually, which I do not know because I haven't played Final Fantasy XI. And Gao is... Okay, so much for that. But yeah, what I want to do now, and that's the stuff I did off screen, but I did tell you I did also research some stuff. What I want to do now is I want to go through some items and like skills here that I have. And I wanted to talk about some stuff that the translation here does not spell out with the items here. And the first item we're starting with is the Orichalcum. And because the Orichalcum has actually some hidden mechanics that like are not reflected here in the text up there, the description of the item. But Orichalcum is actually fairly interesting. It is a dagger that emphasizes stealing. Sure, that makes sense. It also gives you Osmos, which is called Espear here, which is like a very outdated name for that, but okay. So basically stealing is the idea behind Orichalcum. However, Orichalcum, and that's something I actually wasn't really sure about, Orichalcum also does something compared, like does change depending on how Locke steals stuff. For example, I think the way how it works, Orichalcum does get strength, does get attack power here, like attack 151. It does increase attack the better Locke steals. So if he has like a very high steal success rate, the power of Orichalcum goes up. I have no clue how that works, like in depth. I'm not sure how that works, but if Locke steals and is successful with it, the power of Orichalcum should increase. I'm not sure if that means if he steals 255 times in total, the attack power of Orichalcum is 255, or if it means if I have a overall steal success rate of, let's say 90%, it is like 255 times 0.9 attack power or so. I'm not sure if that's how it works, but it does get affected by stealing. I think when I actually did start this out, attack power for Orichalcum was 15 or so, but I did steal a little bit with Locke and now it's 151. Apparently that also does not get reflected in the equipment screen. It will still depict like a very low attack power for Orichalcum, but apparently stealing does increase the strength of Orichalcum. That's what I was able to figure out. Another thing I figured out, let's move on to the next item, is Atma Weapon here. Once again, Atma Weapon, because I did figure out what like the damage Atma Weapon deals depends on. Of course, it is the maximum HP of the user and the current HP of the user. Contrary what it reads here, higher damage at lower HP, that is something we already did figure out does not make sense, because it is always with higher HP it deals higher damage. But it also depends on the level of the character, the strength and the stamina. So that's actually where stamina comes into play, which means Umaru and Sabin in particular are of course good Atma Weapon users because they both have a high strength, stamina and HP. So those are like the perfect users for Atma Weapon, but we already did figure that out. I just wanted to disclose that. One thing I should probably also mention before I continue here, all of this information is apparently for the version 2.9.7 of Tier Edition. Keep in mind that I'm playing 2.9.4, I think. So there might actually be some things that are actually not correct for this version I'm playing. Still, I think because it's not like a jump to like a next bigger version, so to speak, it should still very much apply here in this version of the hack. But just to make sure that like there might be some discrepancies with my version here. But yeah, the information I have is for 2.9.7. And also keep in mind still that the most up-to-date version of Tier Edition is 3. something. So, might not reflect the version you're playing as well. But still interesting, I say. Okay, the next item. We did obtain the... where is it? Yeah, Omega Weapon. We did obtain the Omega Weapon. And Omega Weapon, I need to remove that. Omega Weapon is an insane weapon. Another sort of ancient civilization. It has something called over-technology. And I did just assume, yeah, over-technology just means it can be used for everything. It has super high stats. I think that was what I thought would over-technology mean. But over-technology means so much more, guys. So, let me list everything Omega Weapon does. Omega Weapon does grant auto-regen and auto-haste, which is already amazing. It also gives you critical wall, so when you are in HP critical, you get protect and shell. It also has innate physical damage up and innate magical damage up. Has the counter ability, as well as the aim ability, and sometimes, the cherry on top, if you attack with Omega Weapon, it sometimes casts Ultima. So it is overall an absolutely insane weapon. Definitely one of the, if not the best weapon simply we have. It is definitely well served for a magic using character. Because keep in mind, the character attacks and then can also proc the Ultima effect, which is of course amazing. So so a spellcaster can simply keep on casting spells, and if the character does get hit, might sometimes counter with Ultima, just like that. So yeah, absolutely amazing. That's why Realm has it, but I will come to that later and explain it. But yeah, Omega Weapon, absolutely insane weapon, definitely worth all the trouble we went through. Then we have some smaller things, like about some weapons that are not fully disclosed here. First off, where's the Mjolnir? Mjolnir? Shouldn't the Mjolnir be here? Where is it? I think I have it equipped. Wait a second, here, equip. I don't want to remove that right now, but Mjolnir also has the ability that it grants a plus 25% MP, which is not disclosed in its description. Trust me on that. But yeah, it grants more MP. The same goes for the Zeus Mace, which also gives more MP, 25%. And God Hand also does something here. God Hand, it reads aim, but it also gives you immunity against Confuse and Zombie, which is nice. Zetsa's Last Resort here also gives some magic up, which is not disclosed here. And the last item that has, like the last weapon that has something special on top of it going on is the Rune Bell, which is here. That's the legendary bell we obtained, all elemental attack, but it also gives you immunity against petrification, which is nice. So much for the weapons. Let's move over to the armors. I know this is a little bit much, but I want to mention all of that because I find it interesting. But yeah, we start with some shields here, more particularly the Thunder, Ice, and Flame shields we have. Because there was something I missed when it comes to those shields. Because you can actually use those shields as items, much like the rods here, the Ice, Thunder, and Fire rod. Yeah, as items, you can read casts Fyra. The same is true for the shields. You can actually use them as items as well. But instead of casting the second tier spells, they actually cast the tier 3 spells, which would have been very amazing to know earlier on, because then I would have maybe casted some high power spells much earlier. But yeah, keep that in mind, you can use those to cast level 3 spells if you want to. Then we have something that I actually kind of noticed, but never noticed. But Aegis Shield and Genji Shield also have some special properties. Aegis Shield grants you immunity against petrification. It actually reads that, and I never noticed that. Wow, I thought it did not read that, okay. But yeah, it grants immunity against petrification, so that's not much of a secret then if it reads here, but Genji Shield. Genji Shield does something similar, being like counterpart to Aegis Shield for the physical side of things. it does grant you immunity against sleep, which is also very nice. That also means overall I would prefer Aegis Shield over Genji Shield because Petrification is much more dangerous. So much for the shields. Otherwise, like armors here do not have anything hidden. We can move on to the accessories, the relics. And the first thing I need to mention here is the Dragon Horn. So the Dragon Horn grants you the multi-jump ability. And I always thought in order to utilize that, you had to equip the Dragon Horn, of course. And in order to benefit from the multi-jump effect, you also had to equip Dragoon Boots here. But that's actually apparently not the case, because Dragon Horn combines both jump and multi-jump. So you can just give a character Dragon Horn and they are able to jump as well without having to equip the Dragon Boots, so Dragoon Boots. Which basically means Dragoon Boots are like just simply outclassed by the Dragon Horn. Dragon Horn just does both. I'm fairly certain in the base game that's not the case at all. You need to equip both in order to benefit from the multi-jump effect. And that would also explain why the Gungnir functions the way it does with the multi-jump effect. It just has like the property that it also has jump plus multi-jump attached to it, instead of needing jump from a different source of item. Then we have Mimikon. Mimikon here, Gaogao's special item. Yeah, we did already see it grants him all the like secondary commands characters can get, but it also does improve the sketch and steal rates, something I haven't noticed and isn't disclosed here. Then we have another character-specific item, which is the Power Belt, if I can find it. Power Belt, power. I think it's still up here. It's like one of those necklace-type items here, which is strange, but okay. Power Belt? There it is, Power Belt. What is it called? What is he called? Umaru, it's Umaru's special item. Grants him Extreme Berserk, and I never was sure what it means, but it does give him Rampage. And Rampage is a move that sometimes procs if you selected the normal fight command with Umaru, and that basically just means that he does an attack that targets all enemies that are currently being able to be targeted. So he just simply he sometimes, like if you use normal fight command in battle, he just sometimes decides to hit all enemies, which is pretty nice. It might also be that it just overrides the tackle instead then, so he doesn't no longer use the tackle, but instead just decides to attack all enemies, which, like I said, is nice. And that's basically for the items here. Actually not. There's one more. Floral Fell. Floral Fell is already amazing, gives 25% MP, 50% HP plus. But there's also apparently another thing going on with Floral Fell, and Floral Fell actually apparently also grants you Blade Grasp, which is pretty nice for more evasion. Also something that like the text doesn't tell you here, but I guess I just believe the documentation I found. And that just leaves me with like two things I also still need to disclose. We do have like some things have like the aim command, not aim command, but aim like passive ability, sniper eye here. Aim. I did figure out what it specifically does, although it's kind of obvious. So aim does not work for like special commands, like for example Edgar's tools or Science Bushido. It only works for the normal base command, so only normal base attacks are affected by aim. And then again, we did already see that I think Zetsa was it did miss with his fixed dice, despite having the aim effect via, I think it was like the Wind Corsage or whatever it's called from Barbariccia. So apparently, like, fixed dice still work differently, but aim usually only affects the fight command, nothing else. And the last thing when it comes to items that I need to mention is the imp token again, and like similar items that have something that transforms a character into a different being, like Soul of the Dead as well, which transforms a character into a ghost, or the Moogle suit we have that transforms a character into a Moogle. All of those changes are purely cosmetic. That's also something I kind of recognized already when I did equip imp tokens. Like the imp status does not exist here. Imp is replaced by Toad in this hack, so the actual imp appearance does not change anything. The character just functions as normal. It is just supposed to be a funny gag on top of the imp token being like pretty good, kind of. Okay, so much for that. And that means we can move on to some things I noticed when I did take a better look at some of these skills here. And I know all of this takes a lot of time, but I think it's interesting. Like I said, I think it's interesting and also kind of important that I mention all of that to get the full experience here. So, I was wondering whether or not Ultima or Bahamut are stronger, or if they like kind of are similar or not. And it is as you would expect. Ultima is stronger than Bahamut, but the same also applies for the Ultima spell. Ultima spell is also better than Bahamut, which is kind of surprising because Ultima is something you can just have anytime, while Bahamut is something you need to specifically equip. But based on the pure strength value, the pure power level of Ultima, it is higher than Bahamut. I did experiment a little bit with it, but it didn't seem as if that was the case. It could still be that Ultima is affected by split damage when Ultima targets multiple enemies, and Bahamut is not affected by that. That could be something, but against single targets, apparently definitely Ultima's the better choice here, because you can just have it and can equip a different Esper as well. And then there's a strategy that I also already noticed with Unicorn here. Clears party status. That's something I already noticed, but I want to mention it again. Unicorn can cure Gao of his rage status, so you can theoretically choose like one rage with Gao here and change it mid-battle without having to kill him off via casting Unicorn, which is a pretty nice strategy. That's something I already discovered like in some kind of boss fight. I think it might have been Valigamanda or so. But yeah, that's something. Then I have something to show you, which I cannot really show you right now. I just need to mention it then. Yeah, White Wind. Actually, I need to wait a second. I need him. Let me mimic you someday. Blah blah blah. I want to show you some blue magic here, because there's some interesting stuff there as well. I bugged the music, nice. Happens from time to time, but yeah, blue magic. Blue magic, of course, full of interesting stuff, but there are also some things that are not disclosed here. First of all, White Wind restores HP, and apparently it does not cure poison, but instead it cures sleep, which is interesting. Maybe it also cures both, could also be it. But I did figure out that it cures sleep, apparently. Then we have something with step damage. Step damage is very interesting. It deals damage based on steps taken, of course. But the thing is, like, if you consider it, step damage theoretically should just become stronger and stronger as the game goes on, because you take more steps and, like, it just gets stronger. But if you look at the MP you need to cast it right now, you might find it a little bit strange. It costs 128 HP to cast. That's a very clever trick to balance step damage, because it gets stronger when you do more steps. But the MP cost of step damage does also increase based on the hours of playtime -1. So basically, the longer you play, and theoretically the more steps you take then, the more expensive step damage becomes, which is super funny. That's a super funny thing to me. I don't know, I really like that. That could also theoretically mean that this spell at some point costs like 999 MP, maybe. Maybe it can also overflow or so. I'm not sure how like the game handles that, but that's pretty funny. Probably something no one ever sees because you would need to keep the game running for like multiple weeks or so. But yeah, that's super interesting. That's a nice thing. Then we have something about Ancient Prayer, summons a random Esper. Ancient Prayer can summon a random Esper, but one Esper it cannot summon is Ultima. So Ultima is excluded from that list. Then we have Quasar, also interesting. Damage plus ailments. I was wondering, I did cast Quasar from time to time, and I was wondering why it never like inflicts some ailments. Apparently, what happens with Quasar, to be more precise than the description here, it does deal damage and it picks from a list one random like status condition. It then tries to bestow on an enemy. So it's not like a bad breath, for example, which gives one enemy like all kinds of negative statuses. It just picks like one status from a random list and tries to apply it, which of course might be a negative status the enemy is immune against. So that's how it works. And I think that's actually it for the blue magic, yeah. Okay, and then we have something going on with one of the tools for... Actually, I can just like do it like this. That's pretty handy right now that I have Go-Go here. Let's use a sketch as well. If we take a look at... Can I please... Hello? Why can I not take a look... Why can I not take a look at his skills? Okay, strange. That is super interesting. Because, yeah, tools is not... Okay, tools does not count as something I can review in the menu, yeah. Okay, forget about that. I just need to scroll down here then. But yeah, the particle bomb. Edgar's particle bomb. I think that's supposed to be his strongest like tool he has. But particle bomb also has something going on. It not just only gives like enemies like some kind of death status or like doom status. It also deals damage, which is not apparent here. And on top of that, it also has innate aim, so it cannot miss. And that's pretty nice. Then we have something once again related to the step count. And that is Realm's sketch command. Sometimes, that's also something we have already noticed, sometimes when Realm uses sketch, instead of using like an enemy ability, or like the actual sketch ability, Realm sometimes uses Wishing Star, and does an attack with Interceptor. And that damage actually depends on how many steps you have taken in the game, which is also a pretty nice reference to Final Fantasy VIII, because Angelo in that game learns new attacks by like moving around, which is pretty funny, by taking steps. So I think that's supposed to be a reference to that. That also is, of course, interesting compared to step damage to the blue magic, because that means that's one thing that just gets stronger and does not have like a downside compared to the increased magic MP consumption step damage has, which is interesting. Then we have one thing considering Terra's morph. That's also very interesting, apparently. Let me quickly change back my party. I think I'm done with Go-Go for now. But Terra's morph command has something nice going on as well. And go. And the thing, music is restored, nice. And the thing with Terra's morph command is, cannot even view it here, never mind. But yeah, the thing with Terra's morph command is, the duration of Terra's morph command does actually depend, and I'm not sure if that's also the case in the base game, it does depend on the amount of spells Terra has learned. So the more spells she has learned, the longer the duration of Morph, apparently. Which is pretty cool. So in this case here, right now, this must mean that Terra has the highest amount of Morph time right now. Which is pretty good. So there's actually a benefit to teaching her all the spells, which is nice. She also does get a timer increase, and I think that's definitely part of the base game. And the timer also does get an increase once you defeat Humbaba, but that's something that is in the base game. I'm fairly certain of it. And yeah, that's everything I need to tell you about the skills and stuff in the game. Pretty interesting stuff, if you ask me. Some very hidden mechanics here still going on. It's just T Edition just simply is a Final Fantasy game at heart. It's just so Final Fantasy inspired, you can really tell, which makes sense because it's a Final Fantasy hack, of course. But you can really tell that Tsushiy, the hack creator, did have this Final Fantasy mentality, absolutely. Especially also here when it comes to the mechanics, some hidden stuff going on behind the scenes. I like that. Cool stuff. Cool, and now we wasted half an hour or so with telling you stuff, but okay. Let's continue with me telling you even more stuff, because another thing I quickly need to mention. When it comes to outfits here, by the way, we obtained our outfits via the TLOS. What was it called? TLOS. Oh, I forgot about it again. TLOS Ekmet. Ekmet TLOS. Ekmet TLOS secret, right? Was it TLOS Ekmet? Whatever, you know what I mean. The one in Eureka. We obtained all the outfits via that secret. You can unlock all the characters' outfits via other means, though. Natively, you can do all of that natively. And in order to do so, much of the stuff there involves unlocking character-specific achievements. And talking about achievements, I want to pay Narsha a short visit because I want to take a look at the achievements we have unlocked. I think I'm already here, yeah, because I am so smart. I did some preparations, nice. Let's take a look at our achievements, and yeah, like I said, depending on how many you have unlocked or what achievements you have unlocked, you unlock outfits for the characters here as well. I think I can also enter the middle door now, but I don't want to. I think the middle door leads to the EX patch, and yeah, we do have some stuff going on here. Some stuff still missing. Mokka's probably for all the dances, was probably here already. Strago is new, I think. Old Dog's new tricks. I think that's new. Sabin must be new as well, the Duncan Master. Because we learned all the different blitz techs for him. Icing on the cake. Liberates. Oh yeah, that's something completely unrelated to his tools, okay. Cyan is also new, question mark. Mastered all Bushido techniques, obviously. Terra is Love Conquers All. Obtain the mementos of a certain someone's mother and father. That's probably from our trip to the Esper village. Nice. There is still stuff missing here. I need to steal more stuff with Locke. Which could also mean that stealing with Gaugo does not count towards that achievement, maybe. I need to do it with Locke specifically. I also need to trigger more Interceptor Wild Fang counters with Shadow. I think that's one requirement here. Using more sketches with Realm, which is also annoying. Gao needs to learn his last rages. That's something we actually hopefully will conclude on the way. And something else is also missing. Yeah, using Ice Storm with Umaru, I think. I'm not sure if those, for tables, you also get stuff associated with them. Maybe. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's actually 14, so for every character there should be an achievement. Looks like I still have some work to do off screen. Which is bad because all of that work is heavily annoying. Like I said, I need to use Ice Storm with Umaru 100 times or so, which doesn't serve any purpose other than to annoy me. But that's something I might want to do. And, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff here all of a sudden. What does Kefka do? Quest Quencher, complete every pub quest, that's good. Totally engrossed, played for over 100 hours, nice. Fashion statement, yeah, all characters have at least one extra outfit. Obtained every matches site is good, and roams free to roam. Took over 20,000 technically over... Okay, nice. Okay. But there's also still some stuff here, I think. Not exactly sure what, and I think that's also something I already mentioned, but there are also some achievements still missing in T Edition and will probably never get added. So that's something to consider. I think that's the case at least. But yeah, my goal still would be to also get like all the achievements here. And like I said, by getting achievements, you unlock like some of the outfits characters have. For example, I think Shantoto's outfit here would be unlocked if you use Sketch 100 times or so. And that's also where the, of course, guy near Narsha comes in. That tells you about your game stats. Key items. Oh, we have all the key items. That's nice. We got all the key items. That's pretty good. What is this? Oh, pro ticket. Yeah, I think we did already see that. That's the... Yeah, Rosterit, I think. What is this? A coral piece is, of course. When did we pick up Ultros's weight here? Metal lump. Literally just a big piece of metal. The text on the side claims that it weighs 4 tons. But it's not actually that heavy. Okay. Emperor's letter, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, it's good that we have all this stuff here. And, I see what was missing. Like the crystal, bass, vector, sardine, bonefish, yellow globe. Yeah, okay, that was important that I got all of that. Nice. These fish could be caught off the shore of the deserted island. Because these fish range from delicious to venomous, caution is needed when eating them. Various books, that's from Cyan, yeah. And Bushido in the bedroom. What was that again? That was the clock handle, I think. Terra's pendant, okay. I think that's all the stuff we have already seen. There are 2 things missing here. Okay. That was adamantite from the Adamantor toy. Seriously, is that just... Oh, don't tell me that's exactly what I think it is, right? That's just from Minecraft, a gold nugget. Not an iron bar, right? Omega plating, yeah. The sturdy armor plating of the ancient weapon Omega. In addition to its sheer hardness, this armor plating possesses self-regenerative properties. This combination means that any damage the shell does take will be repaired in time. That actually makes sense. That's actually, I think, I like how that kind of relates to how the boss fight was. That makes sense. Cool. Shinryu Fang. This Fang belonged to Shinryu, a dragon god said to have come from a different world. According to one theory, Shinryu only gives his fangs to those he deems worthy. Oh, I'm worthy of... I got Shinryu's worth. The magical sword Ragnarok is made from this fang. Cool. This stuff we've already seen. What is this? Ancient text. Yeah, that's from... Aris, yeah. A crystal piece. Crystal shards. Shards of crystal with the powers of wind, water, fire, and earth. Stories of old describe them thusly. Hope gives earth, blessing, courage, lights... Wait a second. Hope gives earth blessing. Courage lights the flame. Kindness makes water the source of life. And pursuit lets wisdom ride the wind. When the day comes, the void shall again envelop the world. If within people live the 4 spirits, light shall begin and I cannot read. Again be born. Minvu senestis, except from Luminos Tea Properita Vetrilada. Okay. Sure. That's the crystal eye from Matoya. This magic eye belonged to Matoya, yeah. Now, and next to it we have the bell, of course, from... Like when we were going to Ultima Goddess Bell. Ringing this magic bell will lift the seal on the labyrinth of the ancients. Long ago, the Goddess Bell was kept deep inside a snow-covered cavern. The bell's magic power has since faded. I cannot read. Today the sylphs keep the bell safe. Okay, and the dress we found, silk dress, yeah. To you in the future. This dress was a present from Madeline to her daughter Tara. Oh, that's cute. Okay, 2 items here are still missing. I wonder what that is. I hope Soul Shrine will take care of one of those. Cool. But yeah, that was our trip to this place. And episode is over, kind of. Still kind of sorry, but... Ah, that's what this is for, I see. Still kind of sorry, but stuff like this has to happen at some point. That's where we have all the weapons, interesting. The legendary weapons. Excalibur. One of the 12 sealed weapons. This Night Sword is believed to have been wielded by the King of Kings. It is said that when chaos befalls the world, Excalibur will appear before its rightful owner. Honor. Recalcum. One of the 12 sealed weapons. This fire-like dagger changes its sharpness to match the wielder's prowess. That's exactly what I meant with the stealing. Legend says that this dagger can also usurp a target's magic power. Yeah, okay. I like that all of that relates to what they actually do. Sasuke Katana. One of the 12 legendary sealed weapons. This katana was once used by a legendary ninja. It's believed that this katana was originally kept in an eastern shrine. Okay. Holy Lance. One of the 12 sealed weapons. The cutting edges of this trident have been tempered with holy water. It's said that this weapon was used to skewer and seal away a demon that ruled the land long ago. Okay. Earthbreaker. One of the 12 sealed weapons. This crudely crafted axe is said to have the power to cleave the land itself. According to one theory, this axe once belonged to an ancient mechanical being. Okay. Masamune. One of the 12 sealed weapons. This mystical katana was forged by Masamune, a legendary Eastern swordsmith. The appearance of its cool white blade is often compared to lightly melted snow. Cool, I guess. Soul Eater, one of the 12 sealed weapons. According to legend, this darkest of dark swords can consume souls. Grammar mistake. According to legend, this darkest of dark swords can consume souls. Nice one. It's said that anyone cut by this sword will die where they stand. Okay. Ryo no Hige, one of the 12 sealed weapons. Its name translates to Dragon Whiskers. And this mighty whip is believed to have been made from the whiskers of the Sea King Leviathan. And this whip is imbued with the Sea King's power over the clouds and rain. Cool. Wizard Rod. One of the 12 sealed weapons, this rod belonged to a wizard of great renown. Because it was carved from a sacred tree, it's also known as the Branch of Ruin. Okay. Haha, I disguised myself as a trick. God Hand, one of the 12 sealed weapons. This claw is sometimes referred to as the Almighty Hand of God. Legend says that this claw allows one to perform the fabled Touch of Death technique with great accuracy. Nani? Elven Dart, one of the 12 sealed weapons. This magic dart is decorated with fairy wings. By riding the wind, this dart can accurately hit its target before being noticed. And Rune Bell, one of the 12 sealed weapons. This magic bell of ancient design has been engraved with magical writing. The bell's sound is said to purify malevolent souls. Okay, interesting. Some extra lore about those weapons. And I think mostly about their real-world origins. We have a Magitech suit here, Magitech armor. A military weapon powered by magic, comprises the bulk of the Emperor's military strength. Okay, also something missing here, I wonder what it is here. Must be another kind of statue, I think, and also something here, I guess. Probably something here as well, where I stand right now, on top of the desk here. Okay, looking good so far, we are completing all of this. Might also want to take a look at like this more thoroughly again to figure out what I need and can unlock here. But yeah, nice. Would be nice if I could also complete those collections here. And apparently, and like if I'm being honest here, like it does not really look like as if anything will be missing here. Like this looks pretty fine here. Like something up there, something there, and like in the achievement room as well. I was fairly certain that I did hear something that like some achievements are not available in the version that I'm playing, so maybe that might be incorrect. If that's incorrect, that would be pretty nice. I'm not going in the middle door, by the way. That's something I will not do right now. But yeah, if that's the case, if I can get all the achievements, I will try to do so. But yeah, I guess that's it, guys. We did talk about a lot of stuff right now. Ah, come on, while we're at it, let's pay that one guy a visit I mentioned. The like guy that counts my accomplishments and stuff. Where was he? Over here somewhere, I guess. Was he? Yeah, here, I think. It's been some time since I last visited that guy. So let's take a look what he has to say. Mr. Cleo's home. Hi, Mr. Cleo, blah blah blah, yes. Okay, log, I see you've successfully performed here around 300 times. That's strange because it should unlock something by this point, okay. Maybe I need to look into it more thoroughly. Thanks around 50, and that makes sense. Or maybe it just maybe he counts. Oh, it could be that he counts the grand total of steals that I did plus Go-Go's, like including Go-Go's, and the achievement does not include Go-Go's. That could be something. But yeah, 50 things, 50 twin things are good. Celis, how many times do I need to use Runic? 100 times also doesn't make much sense, but okay. I think stuff should have already unlocked by going by those numbers. Sketch 100 times, that doesn't make sense. Like, I should have unlocked some achievements. Maybe that's where like the some achievements are not implemented thing comes in. That's something I will look at some point. Seems we haven't used the slots command very much, and that's something I forgot about, yeah. Slots is still a thing. Yay. Go-Go? Mimic, probably. Mimic should also be 300 times or so. I'm not sure if that makes sense compared to like the playthrough here. Like if that actually is a good reflection of what I did so far. 100 times so far, yeah. Going by those numbers, like I should have unlocked some achievements, some more achievements. But okay, I will look into it at a later date. For now, I need to declare this episode over. So next time we go to the Soul Shrine then. Kind of sorry to just make you sit here and listen to some stuff I unearthed while making some research about this. But stuff is interesting. I want for you to know that stuff as well, so that we all know what like is happening here and have a good idea of what the items and things we have are capable of. So I deem it very important to do stuff like that, so apologies if you don't like that. If you do, you know, you like it. Makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Next time, Soul Shrine, and we will finally do some fighting again. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next episode of the Final Fantasy VI T Edition. Until then, take care and goodbye.